engineering colleges. He has guided more than 70 ME projects and presently guiding 9 PhD students. He has delivered 85 guest lectures in various UGC and All India Council for Technical Education refresher courses, webinars, and house training programs of prestigious organizations like BHEL, BDL, etc. He has also organized various HTTPs, international conferences, workshops, etc. He has organized a prestigious program Global Initiative for Academic Networking with Professor Suman Das from Georgia Institute of Technology, USA as a resource person. He has also organized two ATAL AICTE online FTPs on one on stress management and other on 3D printing and design and another program on 3D printing and design during October. He has also done many research and consultancy projects in the area of 3D printing. He is also project monitoring and review committee member of DMRL project on development of metal components using 3D printing technology for defense application. He works with MTS Care Hospitals Banjara Hills, Yashoda Hospital Secunderabad, and Sri Sai Dental College Mahabubnagar for solving various critical cases related cranioplasty and maxillofacial surgeries. He is member of various professional bodies like member of Indian Society for Science and Engineering, ISRO Executive Committee member of local chapter of ISSE Hyderabad, Institute of Smart Sectors and System belonging to Department of Aerospace Engineering, IISC's Bangalore International Association of Engineering, Singapore Institute of Engineers, India. So now let's welcome to know more about FDM, SLA and 3D scanner, Dr. Shivaramakrishna. So now, sir, this platform is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, madam, for the introduction. I would
It's
also
my-
like to thank the convener of this program, Dr. Manamadachari, who invited me for this work. Also, thanks to the Department of IFHE for inviting me as a resource person for 2 sessions in your prestigious FDP program. And I wish that your organization conducts such many more programs. And I know how meticulously the planning will be done by Mr. Dr. Chari, who is one of my best students. He's MTech, and he's always a what you call person who always works for the research and shows interest in academic activities. So I wish him all the best. Now to start with our program, let's first start to introduce our Center for 3D Printing, which is Center of Excellence in Additive Manufacturing, established under RUSA 2.0 for 4 crores. This center is led by Professor Sriram Venkatesh, already has spoken to in this FDP program. He is a director for the center and I am the joint director for this center. Let us start with our journey of 3D printing center from, we'll start with the 3, I will first show all the facilities, then we'll go to our actual agenda of the program, that is FDM, SLA DLP demo of FDM, SLA DLP and also Artec 3D scanner. I hope the remaining facilities of center will be told by our director tomorrow, that is Metal SLM, SLS and PolyJet Technologies tomorrow in the afternoon or morning session, exactly. So let us start.
Tomorrow afternoon, sir. Tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow. Okay, right. Just yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Welcome all of you to this wonderful Center for Product Development and Manufacturing, a Center of Excellence established at Usman University. Let us go to the center. So this is located in the TDC building of our University College of Engineering, and this center will cater to the needs of research scholars, PhD scholars, MTech and UG students, as well as it will do consultancy work for a different organization as per the requirement. Apart from that, we also organize several programs under this center. So we'll be organizing shortly in the next month the FDP programs. So let us visit and see this center. This is our basically our center. So we have facilities like the SLS machine, we have electrical laser sintering machine, which is works on polymer based technology. which is basically a sintering process. And tomorrow, sir will be explaining all the details about this technology brought from Germany. And this works for polymer-based things. We use polyamide, glass-fill polyamide, and all this technology. And the other technology we have. Now, this is our metal-based SLM machine. It is a state-of-the-art machine. SLM 280. It is based on its melting process, not sintering process. And this is we use metal powder, powder treated technology. And now entire process tomorrow session, right? So this is another facility which is one of the rare facilities you have in any education institution, which is worth around 3 crores. And we do a lot of applications for aerospace and government and other. So coming to the other facilities we have, that is, you can also see this is our FDM technology, fusion deposition modeling, which we will be discussing now in this session. It is Ultimaker S5 Pro, is the state-of-the-art FDM printer we have. And this is basically works on extrusion process, that is metal polymer-based extrusion technology we have here. So here you will be having the rolls of wires. So this you have for different materials. You can see the specifications of this machine. This is a built volume is 330 by 240 by 300 mm, and this is a dual extruder. We have 2 extrusions here, 2 nozzles here. You have. This is the extruder nozzle. You have here 2 nozzles. These are, they also call it as cores. You call. So one is for the making the parent material, other one is for the support material. You can see here. So this we will be seeing shortly in the video. We are going to see the entire process, the part being built up here. And this is where you load the. You see, you will load the roll of wires which are fed through the FDM machine. So we use materials like here ABS. You will use PLA. We have tough PLA, polycarbonate, TPU, PVA, and at present we have PVA transparent and PVA opaque material already loaded, and we can also load other materials, right? So for building, depending on the requirement, we can load it. So you can press this button and it will be sent there. And one is for support structure, and other one is for making the actual part. And this is its layer thickness is, I think, starts from 0.25 mm. And you can go up to 0.8 mm. This is the layer thickness you can get here. This is a in this using this technology, different parts can be produced. You can see here. This is one of the part produced. This is made from PLA technology. This part and focus. This is another one, a bracket type item. It is made in this using this technology, and this is recently we made for a biomedical application, osteogenesis device for a mandible. We made it for moving the bone along this track in the mandible. This one part we made. This is made with PLA transparent, right? PLA we made it, and like this we can you can also make different type of engineering applications, design verification application. You can also see, and this is a particular type of gear. You can make the model. We can make both prototype. We can also make a functional parts also. You can make using this Ultimaker S5 Pro machine. So we are going to explain in detail how you are going to load the part, everything in the next videos I am going to show. But I am going to show all these machines now. What you are seeing on the screen is the live machines available in our center. Right. So this is the so next facility we have here is the FAPRO DLP technology, is an SLA DLP technology. So it is a resin-based one. There it is a wire-based one and FDM, but here it is a resin-based one. So you can see here, this is from 3D systems. This is from 3D systems, and this is where you have these are bad resin, where you fill the resin here. So the thing is, the part will be built from the bottom plate from top to bottom. It will go from top to bottom. It's like in a conventional SLA process, the part will be built from bottom to top, but here it will be built from top to bottom here at the below from here. And this is the where you fill the resin, and this is where you have this the projection system is there from the bottom,
where the UV light will come and project on it. In the conventional SLA technology, we use the laser beam, but here we use the projector, UV light that will projecting onto this resin, and you make the part here. So along with this machine, and the specifications of the machines are, it is basically works on digital light processing. The build volume is 125 mm by 70 mm by 120 mm, and its source is UV light, UV laser, and the layer resolution is from 30 to 100 microns. And it is you can use different materials. This is the actual plate where you are going to build the part. This is the reservoir where you are going to pour the resin, everything. And the different types of material that you are going to use here is jewel cast, GRN, tough BLK, and flexible BLK and biocompatible resin. It can be used for prototype models, medical application, jewelry industry, tooling and casting. In fact, last time we have made some jewelry pendants. One of our MTech students are done with this. It's a jewelry cast one. So it is done like an investment casting process where you make the pattern and dip in a slurry, and then finally you burn, and this pattern will melt away. Inside this, you pour the required jewelry material like silver or gold, etc., depending on your requirement. Like using this technology, we made some other parts like this. You can make very fine parts using this technology. Like this, you can also see very small parts you can make. And this has got very good applications. Of course, the cost of a DLP technology is higher than the FDM one, but accuracy, surface finish, or whenever you want to go for a transparent materials, you can go for this SLA technology. And there are other parts for which to make. So before you actually make the part in this SLA DLP machine, you have to first mix the resin. So we have here LC 3D mixer is there. So using this mixer, you have to first mix the resin in a proper proportion. Then after mixing it, then you have to load in the vat in the container. The process will be started. Once the entire parts get built up, then you are going to cure in the, you have a curing device here. So where you will cure the part here inside this. This is again cured through UV light. And you can also see this is how the light will come out. And you are going to cure the part inside this. So these are the things you have in the SLA DLP technology. It is basically from 3D Systems USA. It can be the file, the STL file will be loaded through a pen drive here through the SLA DLP technology. Once you model it in any CAD machine, then in any CAD software, then you can convert into a STL file. Then it will also accept OBJ file. Right? It will accept OBJ files also, because colored parts you can make within this technology. Similarly, in this Ultimaker S5 Pro also, you can load through the pen drive. You can load it through pen drive, or you can connect through a port and send the file from your laptop. And what you are going to see now here is the scanner. So we have here Artec 3D scanner here. It's basically used for scanning the reverse engineering applications. So you are going to scan the part, and existing part you can build a CAD model. So you can see how this part will come out. The software used for this Artec 3D scanner is Artec Studio, using which you will be getting all the information. It basically works on the Blu-ray technology. So these are the specifications of this machine. So Artec 3D, it is from, again, I think it's from Russian made, and it is a 3D scanner. And you have the type is Space Spider. The model we have is a handheld device, Space Spider. And it is the scanning speed is 7.5 frames per second, accuracy 0.05 mm, and the working distance, that is the whole distance how much you can hold this. This is from 0.2 to 0.3 mm, and you can capture a volume of up to 2 centimeter cube. So the blue LED basically works on laser triangulation method, reverse engineering. So it can be used for reverse engineering applications, in creating 3D models, industrial designs, and you can also use it for portrait scanning and medical application, etc. So like this, we have another printer made by our student itself in this from our college MTech student. This is basically a model developed by student in his MTech, and this can be used for many applications. Like you can see here, these are some of the very complex parts that are built using this FDM printer. This is for ABS material. You can use it PLA, right? Yes. So you can use it for PLA material you can make. And like this, you can make very complex objects using this technology. You can. So, I hope you are able to see now how the part is scanned and how this is visible in our once the part is scanned, you can see how the part is being built up, captured in the laptop, and see how the part is being captured now in the laptop. In the software, where you are going to scan this part. So this table rotates, the table rotates, and then you are going to capture the part. Okay. Yeah, we will show in the video how you can capture the part, everything. And the software that is used for this Ultimaker SY Pro is the Cura software. So using in the Cura software, before you build the part, you do the machine setup. So that means you have to check about the layer thickness and also what is the orientation which you want to build and what is the infill. All those things you have to take care in the Cura software. And then you have to load it. So similarly, we have another software for this SLA DLP software.
3D Sprint.
3D Sprint software you are having here. So basically, all these softwares you have to do the what you call setting up the parameters before you build it as a part, whether it is SLA or DLP, SLA DLP or FDM technology, you have to take care of all these parts. So let us. We have another specific also the polyjet technology. So this technology basically meant for again liquid based technology, but instead of you are sending a laser beam, you are sending the resin in the nozzle. So nozzle it will be sprayed and you are going to through the part. So this tomorrow in detail about this technology will be told by Professor Sriram Venkatesan in tomorrow's session. So I will start my actual demonstration of how each part can be manufactured in this technology with the theory, including theory. So just I will be going out to that and we will continue the process.
I am now going to show the presentation to you on how this technology works. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I have shown, I introduced the machine, how the machines looks physically. Let us see, because it's not possible directly now to manufacture within the given specified time. We'll see a video which is already recorded and for the different producing different parts on SLA technology and as well as the FDM technology, that is Ultimaker Cura SY Pro and also Artec 3D scan. So these are the we have this center, as I said, We have different technologies like SLM Metal 3D printer, SLS, SLA DLP, PolyJet, Ultimaker SY Pro, and Artex 3D scanner. So we offer this to many of the students, research scholars, MTech, PE students for carrying out the project work. We also do it for consultancy works, etc. So this is led by Professor Sriram Venkatesh, and I am the joint director for the center. And these are, I hope these definitions already, this classification. So let us straight away start with the part machines. So FabPro 1000, it is ideal for engineering and jewelry applications, small part prototypes and direct 3D production across a wide range of high quality materials. And you have high quality precision parts that are 3 times faster high throughput. And you have 2 print platforms, 1 print tray as I shown now itself, and you can connect through Ethernet cable, and you have a different application. So basically, we have through 3 stereolithography process. Original, this stereolithography is developed, basically the first 3D print technology that is ever developed in the world. And this is developed by Chuck Hull in 1980. And he is a part of the 3D Systems company. So they have 3 technologies of SLA. They have laser SLA, SLA DLP, and MSLA you have. So let us see the basic difference between all these 3 technologies. So laser SLA, where you use a laser beam there, and you expose that resin, that is, it works on the photopolymerization process, where when you expose the photosensitive resin to a high intensity light, the monomer starts linking with another monomer, and you get a polymer-like structure, and the layer gets hardened up. This is by selective exposure by light by laser, and here basically the part gets built from bottom to top here. But whereas in the DLP technology, you are not using a laser beam. You are actually sending exposure light from the projector screen from the bottom, and from where you get the part gets built up here on the build platform. This is a MSLA, is another technology. So what we have in our lab is DLP SLA technologies. So this is a basic process in which the part gets built up. So this is the photo initiator you have in the photosensitive resin. You have a monomer. When you expose this one to high intensity light, this photo initiator will start linking with another monomers, and you get a chain-like structure. This becomes a polymer. Right? These are the specifications as already shown to you in the live video. These are the various specifications of this machine. Like printer size is 43 by 4061.2, but you can make a part of 125 by 70 by 120 mm. Then you have 60 micron size, and the layer thickness is 30 to 100 microns. And these are the various materials you can use in the resin: jewel cast, tough BLK, flexible BLK, all this. You can use it for master pattern, for vacuum casting, tools, molds, and dies, complex assemblies, custom assembly, jigs and fixtures, wind tunnels, models, etc. And this is the material extrusion technology we have that already shown, the Ultimaker SY Pro. So it basically, you send a wire, a spool of wire, from a spool, and that will be sent through 2 nozzles. One is for the support structure, and one is the parent material. Once you send the wire and the heated nozzle, so the wire gets melted, and it gets fused, and it starts falling. So basically, this nozzle will move in the Z direction, whereas the platform will move in the XY direction. So in that way, combining both, you get a 3D printed part built on this build platform. These are the specifications of this FDM machine. You can see it's a dual extrusion print head, 330 by 240 by 300 mm is the build volume. You can have a nozzle diameter of 0.4 mm, and it's basically the build plate is heated glass build plate, and you have a width of 50 to 70 mm, and all these these are spools of wire that you can use here. And the filter technology, replaceable EPA filter you can use. So there I have shown that for you have some at the top, you have one area where you can as well as get that room oxidation, all those things you can remove. And these are the various material you can use: ABS, CP, nylon, PLA, touch PLA, polycarbonate, PPX, PVA, and TPU, and all this material you can use. And this is the scanner I already shown. So basically, it is used for digitizing the object, rapid prototyping, reverse engineering, and 3D inspection. So this is the light source. This is the working principle from where you get the light falling onto the object, and this is the projected light patterns, and this will be captured by a receiver camera here. So from there, your part will be the information will be sent to the software where you get the part build up. So already we have seen just now how the part gets captured with the camera, right? So we have here, there are different types of Artex 3D scanner, but we have this space spider model we have here. And the software used for this is Artex 2D. And this is how the process scanning, and then once you scan it, then that model what you get after scanning, that you have to clean it, remove some errors, etc., do the alignments. Then you have to do send it to the machine. Then you can produce the part here and do the post processing. So this is what it appears Artex 3D scanner. So let us see the different parts that you can. So you can have once you make this part in a CAD model, that you can convert into STL file or OBJ file and get the colored parts, etc. You can once you build a CAD model, you can send it to FDM or SLA depending on the requirement. You can use the technology and produce the part. So these are different parts you can scan using the Artex 3D scanner. Let us see now how this.
Good morning, one and all. This is
SLA deal
Yogendra here. A very good morning to all the participants, the students, and the faculty.
This is one of the
I,
vendor who has
sincerely thank
supplier,
the
Mr. Yogesh. Let us start with this technology. Yeah.
3D systems and
the video is audible,
multi-jet
Gary?
printing is for plastic and 100%
Yes, sir, audible.
castable
It's okay.
patterns, and CJP is for color jet printing in sandstone. Today we are going to see 3D systems DLP SLA based FabPro 1000 3D printer, which is a desktop 3D desktop machine with a build volume of 125 into 70 into 120 mm, and materials we use here are proto gray, proto black, flexible tough black, and NextDent SG, which is a biocompatible material. And this machine is capable of not only processing the prescribed materials from 3D systems, you can also go ahead with any other third-party materials which fall under the 405 nanometer wavelength of curing, and you can use these machines for such kind of resins. So basically we will be taking you through this DLP SLA machine right now, and we'll show you all the accessories of it and how the machine looks and its operation, and also the main software, which is one of the salient features of this machine. It is a 3ds print software. This software is basically one of the state-of-the-art software being provided by 3D Systems, wherein you can handle all their plastic family 3D printers in one single software, and also can generate reports which will be very beneficial for the services point of view, and also to some institution point of view as to what is the machine utilization. So now after this we'll move on to the software first and then for the machine. Friends, as you can see, we have designed this bracket, automotive bracket, in SolidWorks software. Now we'll be saving this small file as a STL file so as to move it to the 3ds print software. You can also save as a step file and open it in the 3ds print software. 3ds print software is capable of opening any kind of files. Even the native CAD format can be used by us to actually process the files and save them as per our need. Okay, sir. This is our 3ds print software. Here, as you can see, you have a lot of options here, like printer tools, file, and generate geometry and load reference, and various other options are not active as of now because we don't have any file. So initially when we switch on this software, we first need to choose the printer, which once chosen will remain as a by default printer for you. As we have FabPro 1000, you can see here this machine is selected as default. Apart from these machines, you can select any of the 3D Systems plastic 3D printers from the huge array of machines provided here. So one software can handle any number of machines. So after selection of the machine, we go to the next step, that is selection of the material. So this is proto gray, you have jewel cast, jewel cast is basically nothing but a castable resin, and then you have tough black, you have elastic black, you have flexible black, you have NextDent model 2.0 and NextDent SG, NextDent ortho, NextDent model. So these kind of materials can be used, which are prescribed by 3D Systems. Any other third-party material also can be used. So after this, we chose, because we have chosen here proto gray, our shade will always remain gray. That is the prescribed from the machine. Okay. Now we go and choose a print mode. So every material is basically given a default print mode. You can also create your own print mode by increasing the layer thicknesses or layer resolution in this. Okay. After that, then we go for the standard build style. I can have 2 build styles. I can create my own build style also using this software. So presently we go with the default standard build style. Once we set that, the software sets the whole thing and then shows you the build volume of the printer. So this is the build volume of the printer, and as you can see, this is the mesh which denotes that this is the bed basically. And here you will have all the details of your printer, that is FabPro 1000, the IP address of it, the material you are using, the layer accuracy what you have set, the color and what mode it is working on, and the exact build volume what you can utilize in X and Y direction and Z direction. After this, we have the second option called as printer tools. Now you can change the printer settings using this printer tools at any given point of time. Suppose you don't change it while selecting the printer, you can change it after selecting your printer tool. Okay, so this is printer settings. Now after that, the third option is file. File is basically to import any file, whether it's a STL, STEP or IGS or even the basic CAD format can be imported into it. So presently, as you know, we have saved the file as a STL file. So we now save the same file here and open it in the system. To basically, it is used as a slicing software. Now you can see you have all the options enabled once you have imported the file. Now, once after selection of the file, there might be some errors, due to which you can see this red lines. The whole part is bordered with the red line. So you can take this part into prepare, and when you see in prepare there are no red lines, that means the part is fine and the part is outside the build volume. So if any part is outside the build volume or has some errors, you have a red lining over the part. So now we will use our options available here to basically take the part into the build volume and also place it according to our building styles. So now first we would, auto place is an option which is used to move the file at the center or to inside the build volume basically. So if you have multiple files, all the files can be selected and you can put them in the build volume using the auto place function. Then we go to the orient function. Now this function is very important function because it decides how you have to print the part basically. So here you can use which optimization technique you require, whether it is the print time, whether it is the surface quality or whether it is the support area. So basically most of the time surface quality is preferred. So that is why we go for surface quality. Then the orientation is like this. Now it is moving out of the build volume. So we can now go to an option called as transform, wherein this feature helps you to move the file, rotate the file and also scale the file. So this is in move. Then you can go to rotate. You can rotate in any angle, any degree. You can mention the degrees and rotate, or you can rotate with X and Y values. Then we go to scaling. Now because the part is very big, we go for a scaling of the part, wherein we see also keep in mind the timing of printing the part. So we have scaled it to 20% now. Now selecting the file again, we go to orientation and we go to surface quality, we orient it. And once we go to support area and orient it, it orients in a different manner. So as you can see, the file, if I choose support area and 30-degree angle, you can change the overhang criteria to 45-degree angle also. If you change the criteria to 45-degree angle, up to 45-degree angle, it will take the support structure. So accordingly, now we want a better surface quality, so we will go for surface quality. After this, you have options like scaling by unit. You can change the scale of the unit. Basically from mm you can move it to inches, inches to mm. So that for that this function is used. Then you can do quality check of the parts. The quality check will reveal wherever you have problems, whether it is in the printing volume or in the wall thickness, gap clearances, boundaries are open, or some geometrical defects. So all these the software will recognize by itself and give you the results. Now we can go to measure. If measure is nothing but to measure from one point to other. First let's select the part. So we can measure the radius of this circle, which is 1 mm. Similarly, you can use angle and you can also use distance to measure all the measurable features of the part, basically. Now we have seen orient, we have seen autoplace. Now copy is basically if you want to copy this part, suppose you want to make 4 copies of the part. So you can use that and select the part and say set. So you can make 4 more copies of the same part and start working. Just say delete, like your Word file, you can delete all the files back, and now we are back with one file. Now after copy we have transform. We can transform. I have shown you scale, rotate and move. And then we have mirror. We can mirror in XY plane or YZ plane or ZX plane the same part. And then we have split. Split is an option. Basically if you have larger parts, you can split the part into 2 pieces and then print it, and later on you can join them as per your requirement. Holes, if you want to create a small hole or a hollow structure, then you can use this function. And then generate geometry is basically to generate your own geometries, a box or a cylinder or something. And then you have smart support. So now we have selected this part, so we'll go to generate the support. Now the best feature of this 3ds Print software is that it generates the supports according to the technology and according to the part, and also according to what you are, what machine you are utilizing basically. So when we say smart supports, it generates smart supports. You can create supports. Now if you see, the supports are generated for this small part. You can see where all you have the supports in a 360-degree angle of the part. And now you can analyze your supports. You can update the placements. So here you can analyze where all support is required. This is something which is decided by the system. So you can modify it. You can modify the points, you can add points, you can erase them. You can do all these functions in this part. And here where we generate, we can also go to the same generation and just remove the base thrust Base truss is nothing but joining the support structure at the bottom. So we can say 0, 0, and then just say create supports. So now you can see earlier our support structure was joint at the bottom. Now our support structure is independent of each support. Now the same you can define the pillar thickness and how it has to offset. You can also define the bridge thickness if you are using bridges during your printing. So you can decide what kind of supports is required and where you require and where you don't require basing on your design. So now we have prepared this file. It is in the center of the build volume and has all these support areas, supports already generated to that. Now we have already seen build style. We can use the same build style and we can go ahead, and then load reference is nothing but the reference files we can load which are saved in the 3ds Print software to check the accuracy of the machine. And estimate is nothing but to give you a complete estimate of the printing of the part. Now this whole part, in how much time will it get prepared and how much material. So you can see here it shows you the time estimation is 0 hours and 26 minutes. Material estimation is Proto Gray 5.61 grams and recommended tray fill level is minimum. Now we'll explain you while showing the machine what is the tray level basically, and we will explain you what is minimum and maximum. So this is what it gives you an estimate. So with support structure in 26 minutes your part will be ready. So this is basically the feature of estimate. And then you have something called as report. So this report will give you printer information, part properties of individual part, print time and material estimation. And you can also save them as individual images. So you can create a completely Excel report out of this software of what parts you are printing and everything. Now to generally see what is the volume of the part, you can go to the properties section here on the right hand side corner. So here you can see the name of the file, subparts 1, triangles and boundaries are 0. So volume is 148.04 mm cube, surface area x extent, y extent and z extent. So this is how the part is basically understood by the system. So now what we do it as we either can connect the FabPro 1000 machine via LAN, or we can also connect it using a USB. So basically we'll save the file and we'll transfer it into our. Now we have saved this as a project here. After saving this as a project, now we will we have saved this file as a project in the software. Now it has in your system it has been saved as a project. So whenever you want you can open it for your reference. Now you have 3 options here given: prepare, add to queue and print to file. Add to queue is basically used when your system is connected over LAN. So once you say add to queue, it goes and adds into the queue of the file. Okay, so you can add the same job and you can rename it with your dates and everything, and you can add it. So we are not connected over the LAN with the system, so we will go for print to file. So we will save this file here as a PXL file which the machine understands. So now we save this as round 1 PXL, and so it is unable to connect and it saves the file. So it has said print to file is completed. So it prints as round1.pxl, and now once we transfer this into the USB and we will take to the machine. Now coming to the machine, this is our FabPro 1000 3D printer from 3D Systems. Now you can see there is one operating button and a display screen here given for the machine, and we have this material called as the Fapro Tough Black or Protograph, whatever you can use for printing of the files. So today we'll be using this, and as we discussed earlier, we now are operating this machine using a USB drive. So now this USB drive will be placed here in the USB port here. You can also see you have a LAN port here, and this is the power port of the machine. So once you insert, then now as you can see the printer is ready. So just hold the button and it says hold button to continue to print the job. So we have inserted the pen drive, and after a long press, now you can see the file name is being shown here, and it says hold the button to continue. So the same button we need to hold for continuation of the print. Now I will show you what are the essential parts of this printer. Now if you can see this printer, this is the build area basically, and this is the glass which protects the film, from the direct UV DLP light basically, and you have a DLP light at the bottom. Now you can see this is the area where the build plate is going to be mounted. We'll show you the build plate here. Please come here. So this is the build plate of the 3D printer, and here you have a spatula to remove the parts after the print, and these are some scrapers given by them for scraping of small parts whenever you print. And this is basically a mixer, resin mixer, and then you have this, the film on which the complete resin has to be poured and the printing starts. And then you have brush for some kind of cleaning and activities. This is a tweezer for a cleaning activity, and this one also. So these are few essential parts, and this is basically IP sprayer, and you have tissue papers. So these are few of the essential parts of the machine, and then we have some of the essential accessories which we call as the LC3D mixer. This is basically used to mix complete the resins. When you buy new resins, you need to mix them thoroughly. Generally what people do is they catch this bottle and start shaking. Now that is not the real procedure to do it. You have a professional machine here which actually mixes the resin. So we will just say start here. Once we say start, you can see how it moves the bottle in various angles and directions so that the complete resin inside the bottle is mixed. And then we have a UV curing unit here, a small UV curing unit which uses the UV lights to basically cure your parts. You have to place your parts here. Small parts can be placed on this, or directly you can put the bigger parts on the bottom. So it starts, this is used as a curing unit. So as our printer is ready now, we will prepare the printer for starting the print. So first we will mount the build plate onto the place given here. So we mounted the build plate, and this is how we lock it. So once the blue lever is pressed down, the build plate is locked. So neither the build plate can move or do anything. So then we bring the resin tank. As you can see, it is written front here, so this should be on the front side. Now you place this resin tank onto the glass plate and then fix it using these clips. Now we have to pour the. So now our resin is mixed completely. So we stop it, and this is a resin bottle. We will pour this resin onto the film here. as you can see, there are 3 levels there marked on the, these are the 3 levels. This is level minimum, this is middle level, and this is the maximum level till where you can fill the resin. So as in our build it was said minimum, we will fill the resin to the minimum level. So once it is filled to the minimal level, we will remove the bottle and then now you can see we have selected the file round 1 pixel. Now once our build is ready, the platform is ready, everything is ready, we just stir the liquid a bit using this stirrer which is provided by 3D Systems, just to have a uniform printing style in the whole resin. Do remember, ever working with your resins, you should always wear gloves basically, because these resins are they can harm your hands at any point of time. So basically now we have put the file using a USB, and now we hold the button and the job is loading. Once the job is ready, we'll also hold the button once again to start it. So it's verifying the build. Now it says please scan the material. Now if you can see, there is a red light here and we scan the QR code of whatever material we are using. So once it recognizes, it says add material to the level and hold the button to start. So we have already added the material, so we will hold the button to start. So it gives you the printing timing. Now close the door and leave the machine for printing. See, the build plate goes down and gets dipped into the resin to start the print. Now the printing has started. So the first layers will start getting printed with the UV light from the bottom. It will cure the resin which will stick onto the build platform and make the part. You can see it keeps updating the printing time and also the percentage. So you can see it is 5% done and 21 minutes remaining. So once we'll see inside the how it is printing. Now you can see this moves in Z direction, and also the bed moves in Z direction. So, and from bottom the UV light actually cures the material to stick onto the build platform. This is how basically the printing is done of these kind of machines. So the part is printed, and this is how the part has been printed onto the build platform. Now you can see the resin dripping which is there onto the build platform. That is the extra resin which drips. As we have printed a very small part just to accommodate into our timing. So that's how the part looks. Once the material drips completely, we will remove the part from the build platform. Now we have removed the part from the machine and it is built. We will pour IP onto it. Basically clear the part, and then we use this spatula to remove the part. Now we have to dry it using a tissue paper. And now you can see, and the part has been printed. So the very small features of the holes are also printed perfectly by this 3D printer. So now we use the tweezers and various other post-processing equipment to remove the support structure. Now after the part is completely cleaned, we take it for post curing into the UV curing unit. Now this is our UV curing unit. We place the part in the UV curing unit, close this and set the timer. It is ranging between 45 to 60 minutes. You can start the curing. So if you can see, the blue light starts curing the parts inside the curing volume. We have a reflective surface at the bottom. These reflective surfaces are basically to reflect the complete light from all the angles onto the part. So once the curing is done, after the curing is done, you can take the parts and start using it for your commercial uses, basically for automotive or for testing purposes, for prototyping and for design verification. Also you can use it in your basic engineering jobs and as well various other, even you can make architectural models and medical models. So it depends on whatever the application is. After post curing, you can take it ahead and move it for your prescribed application. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot from Yogendra and from my team, and thank you very much, Chitradeep.
This is regarding the SLA DLP. Let us watch now the FD process. So
Pro FDM 3D printer. So today's my concept starts from first after you
is Mr. Rakesh. I think he is going to speak to you in this sessions. Already has given.
Yes, sir. Today morning he given
So
a session.
he is also
methods.
part of our center. He works in our. He comes and associate with our center in doing different activities. So let us see how the FDM machine that I have shown just now, Ultimaker S5 Pro, can be used for printing the parts. So anyone in this FDP program interested to have hands-on experience, you are welcome to our center. Now this is open. You can do your internships. You can carry out your research work, project works, and you have, and you want to have our contact, you can ask Dr. Chari. We'll provide you all the information. You can use our facilities. So it's a very good facility. I think in one umbrella you get all the technologies. You can do what are the research work you are doing. If any faculty is carrying out a PhD work or any student, etc., you can come and see here. You can use these facilities. We have 3 research scholars and also we have technicians working in the center. And you can come and use this facilities. Let us see now FDM process.
have your design done. Once your design is
audible,
clear,
Chari?
after the design is done, you have to
Sir,
save
yes,
it
sir.
in
It's okay.
STL format. After you save the file in STL format, you have to give certain
One thing,
parameters.
one thing I want to have, we'll have question answers at the end or now only?
At the end, sir. At the end only.
At the end. Okay, we'll have it. Right.
to make sure a 3D printer prints with the expected quality and expected quantity. So, for just getting into the deep, before I give the demo on software, 3D printer understands only the basic concept is bottom, top, shell and infill area. Apart from this, 3D printer doesn't understand anything. Bottom, top, shell, and infill area. Wherever you go in any other technology, you have to have the basics, understandable basics as bottom, top, shell, and infill area. So today I will be giving you all the information about how a file can be imported into the software called Cura. Cura is this software which will be giving you the information about the complete parameter settings which you have to know to get the part in a good quality. So today now you can see the Cura screen. This is the complete Cura interface, user interface, what you are seeing. This complete the complete Cura interface, you can take the file like this. Just as an example, today I am going to take one round bracket as a file which is already saved from a design software. So if you are able to see the part orientation is like this. See, once you load the file, we can rotate using the right mouse button and we can see the complete view of the object. This is how it will be looking at. Hope you are all following. And next line, if you see, there are few commands at the left side of your screen. This one is when you want to move the part left, right, straight, backwards, you have to take this particular command and then you can move left, straight, back, front. And then next command is if you want to scale up the model. See, scaling of the model is wonderful option available in 3D printing. You see, if you increase the model by certain percentage, you can go for a uniform scaling. You have an option called uniform scaling. This uniform scaling option makes you to increase the part in a uniform direction in X, Y and Z also. So you have the opportunity to make the object getting done increased in X, Y, Z uniformly. So this is how you can increase or decrease the size of the file in the uniform direction. And then we have one more option called rotate. Rotate option, if you see here, you have three colors of circles. If you want to rotate your part in one direction, you can take that particular circle and you can rotate. And if you want to rotate with another direction, you can rotate. So we have three colors here, green, red and blue. So this way you can rotate the part. So this is one option. And in 3D printing, in this Cura software, you can even use mirror command and then you can make one more part in the software. So that is also possible in this. And then we have one more command called model settings. In this model settings, you can increase the mesh or decrease the mesh in the left side of the component. So these are the good features of Cura, where even though you cannot be able to do at the design level, we can multiply or increase the size or decrease the size and all settings can be taken up. And next and last is support blocker. See, in support blocker, we can have the manual setting done, or else manually you can set the support at that particular point and then we can release, we can control the complete settings because we have an automatic setting anyhow. If you feel that automatic setting is giving large amount of material is taking, you can take manual support option and then use it. So this is the settings here. So next we are coming to the main part of the things. If you see very clearly here, there are multiple settings seen in this particular settings parameters. See, in profile itself, Cura is a wonderful software which gives all predefined settings of extra fine, fine, normal and then fast mode settings. If you want to have still more finer and then if you want to control each and every set of settings, then we can take any of the setting in this particular screen. If you are seeing, once we can select the settings of the profile, we can have the default settings or customized settings already seen. So if you see here, 1 and 2 is seen. Here 1 is extruder 1, 2 is extruder 2. In this also, when you are particularly giving one material with its own material is being used as a support, you can take that particular thing as the support and same extruder has same thing. So in this way, you can change the settings. For example, if you see the basic settings as I explained previously, you should be very careful about top, bottom, shell and infill areas. And one more important setting is speed. Speed parameter plays very crucial role in 3D printers. So if you see the quality parameter here, in this quality parameter, we have layer height. Layer height is the distance between one layer to another layer. Don't get confused. It is the thickness of the layer. Layer height is the distance between one layer to the another layer. In this, we can give the parameter settings as 60 microns to even 600 microns also. Depending upon your quality requirement, we can give the quality setting. First and foremost, quality setting you have to give this. If your speed is slow and your layer height is less, you are going to get excellent quality. If your speed is high and your layer height is more, you are getting poorest quality. Then after this, we have a shell. See, shell is nothing but the area which is visible to your human eye. So you have to give the thickness of the wall, or else the visible wall, whatever if you are seeing, that particular wall thickness has to be given. In this, we have to give shell settings in these parameters. You see, wall thickness as 1 mm, wall line count as 3. See, wall thicknesses you should be maintaining with the nozzle dia. 0.4 nozzle if you are using, you have to take 0.8 or 1.2 or 1.6. Means it should be the multiples of 0.4 into the number of walls you have to take. Then only your thickness will be good, and then you will be having a good handful of part in your hands. So this is the shell component. And then we have one more setting called infill. See, infill is nothing but which is not visible after the part is printed. Bottom, top, shell and infill area, whatever we are seeing, the infill area is to be given with the time constraint and also the materials and the functionality of the part which you are looking at. You can maintain the fill density from 20% to up to 100%. If you want the solid part, we have to maintain 100%. If you want to have a hollow part, you have to maintain your infill as 0%. And then next important parameter is we have multiple parameters seen in this. If you see, we have triangles, grids, lines, triangles, trihexagons, cubic subdivisions, offset, quarterly cubic, concentric, zigzag, cross 3D, and then gyroid. See, in these settings, most important setting is trihexagon, which is a excellent strength giving parameter for the part. So always use trihexagon for the quality. If you want to have a normal strength or normal thing, you can use even cube, or else you can use lines. Lines having very less strength when compared to the trihexagon. So this is the major important parameters of infill percentage and then infill parameter. So always important, infill extruder should be non-overridden. So it should be calm as per the settings which you have given. It should be taking as per your settings. It should not be overridden. You should not fix it. You should fix extruder 2 only if you are taking one more material or PVA material in the second extruder. Then only you have to fix your infill, or else you have to fix your support material in extruder 2. In infill, always better to have the same material in the same parameters. So same material and then same extruder can be used for the infill area to get the quality of it. So this is up to the infill. And next one is materials. Material should be same as what you are giving here, and also the material which is being inserted into the 3D printer. And next one is speed. See, speed is always an important parameter. When you want a highest quality, try to maintain 30 mm per second. If you want a normal quality, try to maintain 50 mm per second. If you want to go for with fast visuality purpose or else a look and feel purpose, go for 70 mm per second. So this is the speed parameter which you have to maintain. And also, for example, if you are going with some corner surfaces where your topmost surface is not having much layers, then you have to decrease your top layer to as less as possible up to the 10 mm per second to get the highest quality of the object. When you have the bottom with a sharp edges, try to give very slow speed for the bottom. So these parameters can be edited and it is easily understandable in this Cura software. So this is the speed parameter which I am looking at. And next one is travel. Travel, this setting is the material is extruding from the nozzle, but somehow when it is traveling from one place to another place, where there is no need of extruding of the material, then retraction settings plays very crucial role, where your extruder motor pulls back to your pulls back the material to make sure material doesn't extrude at the areas where the material is not required, or else you will be seeing a ooze phenomena where you will be getting the oozing out of it. Next is cooling. By default, always enable print cooling system in the parameters. So next is support phenomena. Guys, support phenomena, as I told, be very clear where we have to give the supports, where we have to give the manual supports or else automatic supports. Always take automatic supports and then make sure your slicer itself gives you the output from particular thing. See, support concept, you can use extruder 1 as the main material and extruder 2. If you are able to see here, I am showing you this is extruder 2 material and this is extruder 1 material. So if you are using the same material for the supports concept, then always generate the supports using the same material. And then if PVA material, if you want any intricacy, any complex parts, then always go for the PVA material and then you make sure you get the quality done. So and then you have to, after printing, you have to keep the part in the water of 50 degrees centigrade where your material, PVA material will melt out and then get the actual part out. So be sure which material is in which extruder and then make sure which core is in which extruder. Make sure that you have BB core in second extruder and then AA core in first extruder. So this is very important where you have to give the same settings, you have to give the same parameters, whatever you are giving in this particular Cura software had to be matching to the hardware components like extruder or material. These two plays very crucial role. Do not give PLA material in the software and then don't give input as ABS material in the printer. That will may damage the printer and also there is a chance of cloggage of the core. So this is how the support concept works and then this is how the hardware component works. And last and final is build plate adhesion. See, depending upon your requirement, if you want to go highest quality on the base of the part, always go for the raft. If you want some other if you have another concept like skirt, brim, raft and none, always concentrate to get good quality as raft. Brim can be used when you have any sharp components at your base of the or else on the bottom of the part. And then the final component is adhesion build plate adhesion extruder. See, always adhesion extruder use same material so that it will be very easy. And also you can use PVA material in extruder too, depending upon your requirements. Next is these components, brim breadth and brim line. It depends upon your requirements as per your design. So this is how settings we give. See, if you see all the components here, this is how the extruder settings will be there. So just we will close and then we'll go to the hardware after now we have already freezed all our settings. Then we are going to slice the part with this particular This is how we load the part, and then now I have already given certain settings. Now I am going to slice the part. This part is given as totally 7 hours 9 minutes is now it is showing for this particular part. So in this we are now just checking what preview how this slicer is going to work. If you see here, lot of oozing is happening. You have lot of support material, so we did not give our supports properly. Generate supports, then no need of extra fine settings. Let us go for fast setting. Generate extruder everywhere. Always give us touch build plate. So this will be coming at 2 hours 3 minutes, 20 grams of material. How if you see the part here, this is how it look at. We have taken only touch build plate. If you change your settings to the now you get the supports wherever is required. If you want to go for a preview, we can see how the nozzle will be working from one point to another point to get the part like this. Right, students? So today I'm just going into the hardware right now. So to this we have generated the G code. Once you have to click save the file, you get your G code generated, and then we are going to save the G code desktop. So here Ultimaker has a format, Ultimaker format package. We are just saving the file. Now the file is saved. File is ready for the printing. So in that settings we have saved the file. And then this particular file, whatever we have got, now we are taking the G code or Ultimaker format file into the pen drive, and then we are inserting the file into the 3D printer. So this is how the 3D printer, once you save the file in 3D printer, after we insert the pen drive, then next important feature is we have to see what are the hardware configurations of the Ultimaker. See, if you see, this is one of the world's topmost 3D printer, Ultimaker S5 Pro. This comes with a build plate, enclosed chamber. It has two nozzle setup, AA 0.4, BP 0.4. AA is for normal material, BP is 0.4 is for support material. These two are the cores. This cores can be removed like this. This is called core. This is how we insert the core into the printer. You can close it like this. So This is automatic swap changeable nozzle. Once we change, automatically it changes one nozzle to the another nozzle depending upon the print parameters. So this is how the printer will look at. And then here we have material loaders. We can always keep material station. In material station, we can keep 6 spools inside. Whatever the requirement you have, whatever the material we have, we can keep it. For example, if you see this, we have kept one material called TPEU. Depending upon your requirement, we can directly take the material, and then we can see right now I am loading the PLA material. We can just insert into this hole, and then we can keep the material inside it, and then we can switch this button. It will get loaded up. We see this is how we loaded the material. Then click this button. Now the material is going inside. Once we insert the material, it just catches the material, and then coming to the screen here. This is how it will be looking at. So this is the basic screen. In this, we have material loading option. We have A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are the materials. Whatever we see, this is the material station. A, B, C, D, E, F. We have a lot of printers which are coming up with other material stations. It will be having an independent one. Here in Ultimaker S5 Pro, we have multiple stations. Means it is integrated to the 3D printer, and then the system automatically takes the material through its input settings which we have here in the material station. So this is how the complete setup will be looking at. And then next is the settings, maintenance and network. See, in settings we have normal, these are the user interface settings: language, flow sensor, display, frame light, developer mode, and then allow anonymous data collection. In this, all the certifications, whatever we are taking, that is this 3D printer. Air manager. See, what is air manager? In this setting, if you see, we have a setting called air manager. This is how you see a biggest problem of warping in 3D printer. This air manager helps to maintain the temperature with that particular atmospheric temperature, which makes the printer quality come good. Parts of the quality comes good. So these are the settings parameters. And then we have maintenance. In maintenance, we have upgrade firmware, print head. In print head, we can have a calibrate print switch, home print head, print hole cleaning, print core peeling. So calibrate XY. For these are the settings which are already predefined. And then we have build plate. Build plate also we can have leveling. Leveling right now it is automatic mode where we have manual leveling, move build plate. See, manual leveling we can take depending upon our requirements. Next one is diagnostics. Diagnostics is nothing but save log files in USB, test homing switches, leveling sensor test. These and everything are nothing but diagnosing the printer if there are any issues, and then feedbacks can be recorded. So this is how. And next one is air filter. Air filter is air filters, whether how many hours we have used, and everything will be recorded in this, and then we can take the maintenance done. So this is how the complete network is nothing but normal thing. Right now we are using only pen drive. We can use Wi-Fi command also, and also we can use through Ethernet port in the Ultimaker. So these are the settings parameter. Right now we are going to start the print. You can just observe we are taking the print, select the file from USB, we are taking the file, and whichever the file which we have done the G code, we can select the file. After we select the file, it shows how much time it is taking for the printing.
So now you can see the auto bed leveling process is going on. After auto bed leveling process is finished, then printing will start. See here you can see in display. See the now printing has started. It's printing the initial layer as well as the beams also. You can see in the display. Initial printing, initial layer only is printing.
If you see the printer printing, outside parts it is printing with so slow speed, means the shell is being printed with slow speed. And if you see, observe the printing slowly, you see the infill speed I have increased. And then there is no need of quality. So the printer automatically increases its speed when it starts printing the infill area. Now you can see the speed of the printer is increased and it is moving very faster than the compared thing which you have seen. Now it is printing the infill, so the speed of the printer has automatically increased. If you see, now the topmost layers of the part have started printing, and the printer has slowed down a bit, and then it is printing layer by layer with very slow print so that your quality of output will be good. Top layers have started. So guys, now the print is getting completed, and then you can see the final layers of the top 3D printing is slowly getting completed. So the final layer comes into play. Now the print gets completed. once the prints get completed, you see the bill plate gets released and then print completes, and then the finishing screen will be shown like this in the printer. After the print gets completed, next process is how we remove the part from the build plate. Now the print is completed. So this is how our print is completed, and we can remove our build plate like this. This is how the print will be looking at. Action. So if you see, the bill plate can be plucked out. This is how the part will be looking at. This is how the supports has to be peeled off. You can see the part minimum supports. We just remove like this. Just remove like this. You are done. Your part supports are removed like this. And here, supports are so delicate honeycomb structures which are easily removable. So finally, you see the part printed in FDM for 1 hour 15 minutes. The quality will be excellent for your visibility and explanation purpose. We have done this print in 1 hour 10 minutes. We can increase the print and we can get the output more than this quality, as we can increase the speed, decrease the speed, and then increase the layer height.
So this is regarding the FDM 3D printer we have. So now let us move to the next one, that is Artec 3D scanner. We will see how this 3D scanning is done. Initially, I will show some initial glimpse of this video, how Artec 3D scan. Then we will go to the actual, again to the Artec 3D scanner. We will also show the live if the time permits. Okay. So let us start with this Artec 3D scanner for reversing. Is it okay, Chari? Shall I start?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. You can. Yes.
First, we show the recorded video, then we'll go to the machine 3D scanner.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we can proceed. Right.
Yes.
Hi everyone. My name is Chitradeep Josh,
So
technician. and
Chitradeep is our technician. Earlier he was in our center. So he is going to show you now how Artec 3D scanner works. Now we'll again show afterwards the again live on how you can scan the given object using the Artec 3D scanner.
assistant in CPDDM, Center for Product Design Development and Additive Manufacturing. So welcome to this session, session 14. So this session is all about scanning and reverse engineering. So today I am going to show you how to scan. So the scanner which we are having is company name is Artec. The model is Space Spider. And these all are the equipments. Like see, this is the main scanner. This is we call turntable where we can place parts while scanning. So and this is the power backup. Like when we go for outside scanning like things, then that time we can use this lithium ion battery. Anyway, now we like connect this scanner and this turntable through these our main power plugs. Okay, so the first thing is like when we're going to scan any part, we have to connect our scanner to the main computer where our software is installed. The software is Artec Studio, and we have to connect this scanner to the main system, as well as we have to connect this turntable with this laptop via Bluetooth. So now today I'm going to show you how to scan. See, I already opened the software. This is the software interface. Okay. Before going to the software interface, I will tell you something regarding this scanner specification little bit. Like this scanner is working on blue LED light source. See, these are the LEDs. So these LEDs emits blue LED, blue color LEDs, and these are the cameras. These are the all cameras. So and this scanner is like the 3D resolutions of this scanner is like 100 microns, and when it comes to point accuracy, it is like 50 microns. And this scanner recording speed like 8 fps, up to 8 fps, like frame per second, 8 frame per second. Now I'm going to the software interface. See, I already opened this software. Here 3 options is there. One is scan, second is open project, then is import from Leo. Leo is the another scanner. So to scan, we have to click this scan options, or else in the scanner you get one switch here over here. So this, when you press it upside single time, then it starts scanning, like starts previewing the model. Like see, I'll select this button. See, so we have select this part. This is SLS printed part. This part also printed in our SLS machine also. So we select this part because of this medium level of complexity of this part. So we place this part on the turntable. Now you can see in the screen, you can see it starts previewing the part. So this is the part, it starts previewing the part. So here you can get another option, record, or else you can click on record, or in the scanner the same button you click on the upside second time, then it starts recording the scanning. So now for the first time only I will click on the record button in this software. Now you can see it starts recording or starts scanning the part. In the screen, the green region is the scanning region. This is the optimum scanning region. The green region is the optimum scanning region, where in the left side you can see one bar is there where 170 to 300 is mentioned. So what is this all about? So 170 is this is the minimum distance you should maintain while scanning in between the main part to scanner. And 300 is the, you can go up to maximum 300 millimeter to scan any part. So now I am scanning this part. See, while scanning, I am maintaining the graph. I am maintaining the graph. See, I am maintaining the graph. See, when I go far away from the distance, like more than 300 mm, it starts showing object is out of sight or tracking lost. Means your scanner is out of 300 mm. So you have to maintain the distance while scanning. See, now I am on the range. Now the bar is on the green. Now I am going to pause the scan. And going to record the scanning data. It takes a few seconds time. See, our first scan is already complete. Here in this here you can see error value is 0.3. So in Arctic scanner, every scanner is having its own error limit. So this Space Spider, the limit is 0.3. So good scan is 0.2, but you can go up to 0.3. So 0.3 up to 0.3 is your good scan. So now this time I am going to scan it from another angle, just to capture all the surface of the part. So this time I am going to scan by clicking this button upside once. See, now it starts previewing the part. Now if I click it one more time upside, it starts recording the part or starts scanning the part. See, while scanning you have to maintain to capture as much as surface as possible. Like when you go out of the, as I said, when you go out of the range, it will show the tracking loss. So you have to maintain the distance. Otherwise, in the end, you will be getting up like more errors, like more number of error value. Okay. See, I am tilting this scanner to get all the surfaces as much as possible, but at the same time I am maintaining the left side bar or distance. I am see I am tilting the scanner upside just to get all the faces. At the same time, I am maintaining the graph, the distance from the part to scan. Like same way, I am tilting this. On the screen you can see I already captured almost all the surfaces. Now I can stop the scan by clicking this button downside. It stops the scanning and it will take several seconds to map the textures. See, I scanned it. See, this time the error value is 0.8. As I said, when you go beyond your range, no, it will show you more error value. So while scanning, you maintain the distance and reduce your maintain your error value as much as low as possible, or else after scanning you get the scan data, you have to double click and you have to arrange the error data from higher to lower order. Then you get, there is only one frame which is having 0.8 error value. So what you will do, you do you just delete the features. And now your your error value came below 0.3, like within the range of 0.3. So now this scan is considered as a good scan because the error value is within the limit of sometimes if your error value is like within the range but you will not getting the proper surfaces, then you have to scan it, rescan it the part in such a way that your error value should be within 0.2. That is the main thing. Here you can see I have already, there is 2 scan data. So in this thing I want to tell you something regarding this geometry and textures. This geometry is already just if I click on geometry, it will scan your part, but when I click on geometry and texture, it will scan your part as well as the color the part is having. The both color and geometry means the physical dimensions also captured. So this is all about this scanning, how to scan any part. The remaining post-processing things will be taken care of another.
This is regarding the scanner, but after this you have to do post-processing. That means whatever the file you get lot of errors. Those errors you have to remove. And further, you in Artex 3D scanner, you have to do that. You have other popular re-engineering or you can popular reverse engineering software is available like Geomagic and all those things. Using that also you can do the process. You can have a robotic held scanner also for getting more accurate thing. So this is all in nutshell what we have in today's demo session because already the time is over. So shall we go ahead with question and answers?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I
So,
think,
any questions from the audience?
I regret for the delay in starting the
No issues, sir. No
making
issue,
it
no
to
issue.
wait. Okay.
No issues, sir.
Yeah. Any questions from the?
Any questions in this session? Any
They
questions?
can introduce themselves and ask questions, please.
Yes, sir.
They
Yes,
can
sir.
introduce.
Please ask your questions directly to the speaker. You can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions.
Or they can post in chat box also.
Yeah. You can post your questions in the chat box also.
How many attendants? How many people are participating?
Actually, totally 50 members are there. And 74 members are registered, but now 33 members are there.
Okay. General, that's a regular thing with online.
Actually, regularly 50 members are coming, but now
Okay.
the
That's
time
a
is
good
different.
strength. Out of 70, 50 means you are having more than 60% attendance.
Yes, sir. Please ask your questions directly to the sponsor. Any questions from the audience, you can ask directly.
Okay.
Okay, sir. I think
they
no
have followed
questions.
or not?
Yeah, they are following, sir. Actually, now the time is delayed. Maybe they are.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for your nice session, sir. Showing the DM and SLA and the 3D scanner demos. There something they are appreciating. It was a wonderful session like that.
Yeah. You can share the feedback also to us.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
So I once again welcome all the participants to our center to participate in all the research activities. It's a collaborative. You can do the collaboration from your institute or from your organization or individual also. You can utilize our facilities of that. Thank you, Dr. Chari.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Also, the head of the department of the IFHE School of Engineering. And thanks for giving a chance at the resource person. I hope we'll meet again on Friday, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Friday morning.
Right. On innovative applications of 3D. Right.
Okay,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm leaving, Chad. Right.
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thanks for giving you a nice session, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Here, the Google form link is forward to you. Please fill the form. Okay, this is we are considering as your attendance. Thanking you.